We'll discuss about the finite automata. This is one of the most important and basic thing to learn about before going to be learning about NFA and EFA. You need to learn what is finite automata, and we'll go for some of the examples related to the finite automata, and then we'll go for the we'll see after the what is deterministic finite automata and non-deterministic finite automata. When coming to the finite automata, there are some automation model. You are having the characteristics of the automation model. Means now we are going to be drawing sample automation model. So whenever we are drawing the sample automation model, the sample automation model is having some characteristics, and based upon the characteristics, that automation model will work. So whenever we are having a common standard automation model, and each and every representation will follow the same characteristics. So what are the characteristics we are discussing now? The same characteristics, it will reflect all the characteristics in each and every automation will follow the same thing. So you can see the one by one. The first characteristic is input. So whatever the finite automata we are representing, we are having an input operation. The operation can be identified in different timings. So at the time t1 and time t2, time t3 and so on, each and every location we are giving input 1. So suppose we'll take an alphabet sigma equals to 0 comma 1. So whenever we are going to be identifying the finite automata, we know that the finite automata can be represented by using the symbols. So I am having a symbol, this will call as 0 comma 1, and we are having the states. So the states and its transactions can be identified based upon the input representation. So we are applying this input in the different timings. So that's why we are representing t1, t2 and so on tn. In the different locations you are giving input 1, input 2 and so on, input n. So in the different discrete timings we are representing the different input values, and based upon the input value the operations will be performed. So we have to remember that the first characteristic is input. Each and every finite automata will be represented by some set of input values, and second, output value. So each and every finite automata, whatever the state we are representing, so you can see output 1, O2, O1, O2 and so on, OQ are the outputs of the model. So each and every finite automata is having a fixed number of output values that we are representing it as an O. So we'll see an example later. And you can see the third one, you are having the states. So a finite automata is represented with a set of the states. So basically we use it to define the keywords q0, q1, q2, q3 and so on, like this. Every finite automata is represented with a set of states as a third property. When coming to the fourth property, state relation. The state relation you may call the same thing as a function, or else in short you may call it as a transition. When coming to the state relation, the next state means, if suppose I am having q0, q1, q2, q3, like this. So from q0 to, if suppose I want to go to q1, what I have to do means that the relationship between q0 to q1 means when you are having an input q0 and at the state q0, if you are having input or output equals to 0, then you can go for q1. That's what you can call it as a transition. So you are having the state q0 and you are going to be taking the input. So whenever q0 on 0, so it's going to be performing, means it is moving from q0 to q1. That you can call it as the moving, the relationship between the states, the relationship between the state q0 and q1. So that is determined based upon the present input, present state, as well as the present input. And coming to the next, the final characteristics, output relation. The output relation, so whenever we are performing these values, we are deciding that whether the particular, whatever the input you are deciding, means you may have the two categories. That's what we discussed in the previous one. The finite automata categories of two types. So the finite automata, it may say that it may accept or reject, or it may produce some output. So whenever you are going to be representing this, the kind of operations we are doing here, that you are going to be representing it as a output relation, that will call it as a output relation. So you can take the output is related to either state only or both the input and the state. It should be noted that any instant of time the automation is in some state. On reading an input symbol, the automation moves to the next state, which is given by the state relation. So we are going to be identifying the representations of the finite automata. These 5 basic properties. We'll see the first one is input. I want to give the input with the different time intervals, and we are going to be moving the states, means the output representation for each and every state, and we are representing all the sequence of operations in the form of the states, and we are identifying the state relation, and we are identifying the output relation. So the output relation, so whenever I'm representing q0 on q2, so I'll give you an example. You can say I'm having q0 and on 0, q0 on 0, the output I'm getting it is q1. So whenever I'm having q0, this is the state relation, and having an input 0, I'm getting the output, that is q1, means you are getting the next state to be followed. On the same way, you are having q1 and 0, I'm moving to another state called q2. On the same way, q0 on 0, I'm going to the self q0 only. So like this, you can able to identify the properties of the automation model. So you can see the example here. Normally, whenever we are representing the finite automata, we use it to learn some basic representations. We'll have the start state and we'll have an end state. The start state will be represented by using the starting with an arrow, and here double circled will be represented as a end state. So here whatever the properties we discussed now, that will all the 5 properties we will see. First, you can see the input values. You are having 0, 1 indications here. So you are having with the different time intervals, you entered the different values, that the first properties. In the same way, you are giving the output. So from q0 to q1, I am getting some output. Whenever q0 on 1, I am getting some output. q1 on 1, I am getting some output. The different outputs. When coming to the states, we are having the three states. One is Q0, another is Q1, another one is Q2. We are having three states, Q0, Q1, Q2. And next, the relationship between Q0 and Q1. The relationship between Q0 and Q1 means Q0 on 0 moving to the state Q1. So this is the relationship between these two states. And as well as you can write, you are having Q0 comma 0, that we are moving to Q1. On the same way, Q0 on 1 we are going to Q2. And next, Q1 comma 1 we are moving to Q2. So this will call it as the transitions. So whatever the operations we are doing here, that are all represented the basic relationship between one state to the another state. And coming to the last, the output means the whenever we are moving to the next state, the next state moving to the next state is depends upon the output that we are representing in the form of a table. You can see this is an present state, this is on input, and next state. When I am on Q0, the input is 0. The next state I want to visit is Q1. When I am on Q0, the input is 1. I am visiting Q2. Means the state representation to move from one state to the another state based upon the output, that you are going to be representing it as the fifth property. So these are all the basic properties whenever you are representing any of the finite automata. So you can see one of the example for finite state machine. This is an example from the Chandrasekharan book, Theory of Computer Science, Automata Languages and Computation. So from this book we bought this example. This is a 4-bit serial shift register. So for this register we are going to be drawing, we need to draw the finite state machine. We are using the D flip-flops. This is 1 2 3 4. So 4-bit, we are having the 4-bit serial shift register. For this serial shift register we need to draw the finite automata. You see the finite automata, how to draw the what is the solution for this. So whenever you are representing 4 operations and you are a 4-bit representation, and I am having we are using the flip-flop representation. So totally for this shift register, so you can see the problem for the D flip-flops I am using, and I am using the 4 D flip-flops. So you are taking the input as well as you are taking the clock. For this, the total number of combinations we are having it is 2 to the power 4. It equals to 16 states. Total number it is required means the possibility, the maximum number of possibility. It's not the minimum number of possibility. The maximum number of possibility to get is totally 16 states. You can take 0 0 0 1 2, so all the binary representation up to 1 1 1 1, and you are going to be having, you will take the serial input and you will get the output. The same entire representation, whenever you are representing in the state of the finite state machine, you are giving input I1 and you are representing, basically if Q0 Q1 Q2 something like this, you started Q1 to up to Q6 and you are getting the output values. So you are having input, output, and you are represented the different states, and based upon the different states it is moving from one state to the another state, and at the final it is producing the output. So that's what the way we are going to be representing for the finite automata. We'll go into the real-time example. So this is an example of an interaction between bank, customer, and store. Bank, customer, and store. We are having some sort of conditions here, and based upon these conditions, now we are going to be identifying, or else we are drawing the finite automata. You can see the first one, we'll go for the 5 rules, and then we'll go for the uh, example of drawing the finite automata. The first rule, the customer may decide to pay. That is, the customer sends the money to the store. Means I want to buy something. So to buy that particular item, I decided to pay. So whenever I decided to pay, the customer wants to send that money to the store. That's the first rule. Second, the customer may decide to cancel. The money is sent to the bank with a message that the value of the money is to be added to the customer's bank account. So after uh, purchase the particular item, he wants to cancel it. So same like the online shopping, how you are doing now. So the customer, whenever he cancel the order, automatically from the store, the particular amount has to be deposited into the customer bank account. It has to deposit it into the customer bank account. That's the second one. And third, the store may ship the goods to the customer. So without any deviations or violation, the store people, they want to shift the goods. That is the third one. And coming to the fourth, the store may redeem the money. That is, the money is sent to the bank with a request that it's not given to the store. Means sometimes it may be failed or anything else. They want to redeem it. They want to redeem it. So the money is sent to the bank. So without having any request given from the store. So without going to be contacting them, the money automatically will be deposited. And finally, the bank may transfer the money by creating a new suitably encrypted money file and sending into the store. So they want to transfer it, they want to buy. So whenever I given a request to pay, they want to encrypt the data and they want to pay the particular amount to the store. So this is the what how we are going to be identifying the particular thing. So you can see the example now, the finite automata. So the store started A B C D E F G. These are all the states. These are all the states to represent the finite automata. States to represent the finite automata. So I am having totally 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 states. So only for the stores you are having the 7 states. So here you need to give some set of inputs. Means that you are representing it as a sigma. You need to give some set of inputs, and based upon the input you are applying some function, and through the function you are going to be generating some output results. From the function you are generating the output results. When coming to here, you can see every finite automata will represent it with the start. So the store, so whenever they paid or else the operations are moving on, how they are going to be transferring the data, that entire operations what we discussed in the previous files, that we are going to representing here. The stores, so he want to pay. Whenever he want to pay, he moved from A to B. So after the payment they want to shift. So after the shipment, if they want to redeem anything, so they will go for the redeem, or else they may go for the transfer of the particular data. This is one way. And another way, you may go for the redeem directly, you may transfer, and you may ship it. And another way, you may go for the redeem, ship, and then transfer. So it is represented with the input operations as well as to the output operations. And coming to the customer, so start, so you can decide based upon the ending value. You can represent any of the final state. If suppose G is the final state, so I can represent Z with a double circle. Start, you are having only one state, so you can make that to be double circle. So you are starting and ending on the same thing. Customer wants to pay, he may pay. Customer wants to cancel, he may cancel. So only the customer themselves, means it's a self indication. It's a self indication. And next, whenever this is the bank, so bank, they want to start, they will start. They want to cancel it, they can cancel it. And next they want to redeem, you are moving from redeem and then transfer. So means the basic operations you need to identify. The here, whenever you are representing, you can take sigma equals to, means the input values. The input values you can say, you can give pay, next redeem, next transfer, ship, cancel. So totally pay, redeem, transfer, ship, and then cancel. So you're having 5 inputs, and based upon the input we are going to be identifying the transaction functions to be executed. That's what the rules they specified here. So whatever the 5 decisions or the instructions they are given, these are all, it is indicating the transaction function, that will call it as a, you may call it transition, we'll call it as a transition function, the transition function. So whenever the transition function, so you can see the transition function for the store, whenever the customer pay the money to the store, they may go for the shipping the project, or after the payment if they want to redeem, so they want to transfer that money amount, that money to the bank account, that money to the bank account. That's the two options they are having. If he want to get the item, he wants to get it. Otherwise, if he wants to get the particular amount into the bank, so he can able to get to the particular amount to the bank. So another example, the same example, if suppose I want to include an option in each and every state, if suppose I want to apply a state called an option called cancel, so we are going to be using an option called, that we are going to be calling it as an ignore actions. So means, and whenever I am moving from one state to the another state, at a particular state I want to ignore something and I want to move further, that we are going to, that will call it as an, going to be introducing the cancel state, going to be introducing the cancel state. So the two kinds of actions that must be ignored. So what is the first one? So you can see the first ignorance, the first action, if it is an irrelevant, or otherwise if you or don't want to allow, means to kill the particular automation function. Means whenever you are moving from one state to the another state, one state to the another state, q0 to q1 or q1 to q2, whenever you're moving from one state to the another state, if suppose I don't want to consider a state which is relevant to me, means I want to escape, or else to leave the particular state and wants to move to the next state, how to do that? And second, this is not at all required, not at all required in the my finite automata. Even though it is not required, it is represented in the finite automata at this time. So how to represent this kind of an operation? So you can see the same value, we are going to be representing the same operation. We are having store and we are having customer, we are having bank. Means whenever we want to give the more number of operations, that you are going to be representing here. So the store, so previously I don't have an option called cancel, so I'm giving, you can cancel here, you can pay or you can cancel, you can pay or you can cancel, you can redeem, they may redeem, you can pay or you may cancel, you may pay or you may cancel, you may pay or you may cancel, you may pay or you may cancel. Means at any of this stage, if you want to do the particular operations, you can do it. So that's what the operations you want to represent it here. And next, customer, the customer they started, and earlier I'm having only two options, pay and cancel. Now you're including more number of, you may ship, you may redeem, you may transfer. So likewise, based upon the requirement of the indication in the finite automata, you're going to be specifying the operations to be included. So whenever when we are coming to the definition of the finite automata, a finite automata represented by the 5 tuples. So there's one most important, a finite automata represented with the 5 tuples. First one is Q as a finite non-empty set of states, finite non-empty set of states. Second, sigma, finite non-empty set of input alphabets, finite non-empty set of input alphabets. Third, delta, it is the function, you'll call it as an transition function, you'll call this as the transition function. Delta is a function that maps q into sigma. So q into sigma, q into sigma means q is the state, q naught, comma, sigma, sigma is the input value, means 0, q naught comma 0. That implies to another state, means q1, which is in q, it's already in q, means it's a set of all the states, it's a set of the all the states. So that's what the meaning of this q into sigma into q, and is usually you'll call it as the direct transition function. This function which describes the change of the state during the transition. So whenever you are moving from one state to the another state, and we are representing this. When coming to the fourth, q naught as an initial state, and finally f, it is a final state. So you need to remember one thing, you may have a single final state or you may have more number of final states. So there is no restriction at all to specify only one final state. You may have a single final state or you may have more number of final states. So whenever we are representing the data, the finite automata should consist of all these 5 properties. The first one, you need to have a finite set of states. Second, you need to have finite non-empty set of input symbols, and you should have a transition function. You need to have an initial state, and you need to have the final state. These 5 tuples. So this is an example. You can see the example here. We'll go for the example. This example, you can have the transition function. So we'll discuss this in example. Whatever the 5 representations we specified there. The first one, q. First one is q. You consider this one. First one is q. So the q, it is a set of non-empty set of states. Means you can go for Q equals to non-empty set of states 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The same thing we can write here. Q equals to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And next, here have the input alphabets. Sigma equals to, the input alphabets we are having is A, B, B, C, B. Means as a distinct representation, you are having A, B, C. You can write A comma B comma C. That will call it as a second. So this is the first one and this is second. And next, the representation of the transition. So the transition function, that will Q into sigma implies to Q. So you can see delta 0 comma A. So it's a 0 and this is A. Whenever 0 comma A, it is moving to 1, means it is 1, the first one. And coming to 1 comma B, it is moving to 2. 2 comma B, it is moving to 3. 3 comma B, it is moving to, you don't have any 3 comma B, it's wrong. You are having 2 comma C. You are having 2 comma C, you are moving to 4. You are having 4 comma B, it is 5. It is 5. In the same way, whatever the representation you are having, initial state, that is 0, and coming to the final states F, it is indicated with the double circles. You can have 1, 2, 3 and then 5. So totally I am having start state, you are representing start state is 0, and then end states or 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. So the same way how you represented in the transition function, you are representing in the form of a table. That will call it as a transition table. So you can see the transitions table having the state or input. You are representing the input alphabets. So the total number of states we are having 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So whenever you are representing the start, you can give the start symbol 0, and whenever 0 to A, so it is moving to state 1, and from 1 to B, 1 to B, it is moving to 2, and 2 to B, it is moving to 3, and 2 to C, it is moving to 4, 3 to, you have this transition is 2 to 4, and 4 to 5 B, and at the final there is no relationship at all with A, B, C. So you can see the whatever the relations we had, that all the relations can be represented by using a finite automata, can be represented by using a transition table. So if you are having any doubts related to the finite automata, so you can drop your question in the comment section, Otherwise, you can send me an email to academyclever@gmail.com. Thank you.